Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Today in the rLounge, the cheapskate who opts for a destination wedding. This entitled young sister seems to tick every box of narcissistic behavior. Entitled sister would have me lose my job and house to attend her destination wedding. My younger sister has always had issues with entitlement, taking advantage of others, throwing fits, being verbally abusive, and being a miser. Not trying to dispense armchair diagnoses, but she really does check every box of NPD. A few years ago, she announced her engagement to a nice guy who was a pushover. He expressed not wanting to get married for a while, but she proposed to him, not that there was anything wrong with that, and kept pressuring him to get married. He comes from a wealthier family than us, and is good with money and investments. Perfect combo for her to take advantage of and have someone bankroll her delusions. He wanted a modest, local wedding so friends and family could attend. My sister decided she wanted a destination wedding outside of the country. At the time, my husband and I didn't have the best paying jobs. He was working on a second degree, and we had eminent goals of buying our first home together. We regretfully declined her invitation because the trip would cost us $3,000 to $4,000, which we did not have. It would have to go on a credit card. When we RSVP'd no, she said she and her now husband wanted to pay for everything so we could attend. My husband and I were floored because 1, that is a lot of money, and 2, my sister has never been one to offer to pay for anything. We accepted her offer with a lot of gratitude. A couple of months go by and she asked if my husband and I have booked our airplane tickets and hotels yet and said, "They just keep getting more expensive the closer they get to the date, you know." What? I have never expected anyone to just give me anything, but my financial situation hasn't changed. We tell her as much and she says, "Well, husband and I looked at all the prices a while ago and it is too much money, so you guys will have to take care of it yourselves." We ignored her and went on with our goals. Months go by, and husband and I both get better jobs and buy our house. Sister comes back and asks again if we purchased our tickets despite repeatedly telling her no. We tell her again, no, and at this point with our new jobs, we aren't allowed to take time off yet and don't have enough PTO anyway. When I started my job, they offered to honor upcoming events if I needed time off, but I had said I didn't need anything since I had already planned on not going to the wedding. We didn't have savings and took on a mortgage, so we can't tack on credit card debt too. I was so annoyed with her constant, "just figure it out" tantrums and "if you really loved me" speeches. I tried to frame it differently so maybe she could understand. I told her that attending her wedding would mean that we would have to no show at work, likely lose our jobs, and not be able to pay our mortgage, and then lose our house. I said to her, "So you are okay with my husband and I losing our jobs and house and risking us being homeless so we could attend your wedding?" Of course, she didn't have a good answer for that. She has no concept of money because she has always manipulated people into paying for her. She has never been able to hold a job. She has no empathy for others, yet thinks she is deserving of special treatment. I don't understand where it came from because our parents raised us to be hardworking and to not expect crap from anyone. Our parents and my husband and I couldn't afford to attend. Her husband's family could and wanted to go, but she wouldn't allow it because it would be weird to only have his family here and not mine. She put up a huge paywall and then blamed us for having to elope and went no contact with us. It has honestly been a huge relief after a lifetime of her abuse. ETA. When we accepted her offer to pay for our trip, she had said to not worry about anything at all. She said she would book our flight and hotel and everything and just to sit back and relax because she just really wanted us to be present at her wedding. She gave us dates to put in time off requests at our old jobs, so this is why we didn't buy anything with the intention of her reimbursement. We were surprised when she asked us if we had done that stuff yet. Should have known better since all of that is very unlike her. Honestly, if you choose a destination wedding, you have to expect people to not be able to come. That's a given. If she actually wanted you guys to be there, she would have decided to have that intimate wedding that even her husband preferred. It's unfortunate that her choice to go no contact with you became the outcome. But it seems like it brought some relief from a lifetime of her abusive behavior. Setting boundaries and prioritizing your financial stability and well-being is crucial. It is important to surround yourself with understanding and supportive individuals. Update. Entitled sister demands a free custom wedding dress. Some of you may remember my other post about how my sister wanted me to risk losing my job and house to attend her destination wedding. I was thinking about her today, and this story came to mind. I guess this would probably also fit in with the choosing beggars sub. My sister has a history of being a cheapskate and would manipulate and take advantage of people to get her way. She was also verbally emotionally abusive, particularly towards our mom. We are all no contact with her now. This was a few years ago, but when my sister was getting married, she did some dress shopping and quickly realized it can be expensive. While the bride's parents usually help cover wedding costs, ours were unable to afford that. She knew my mom had saved her wedding dress, so my sister asked if she could have it. Nothing wrong with that. My mom had saved it for that exact reason. The dress was dated, so she requested if she could save parts of the dress to use in the creation of a custom dress. Again, I don't see anything wrong with that personally. However, instead of taking this up with a professional seamstress, my sister asked Mom to make the dress for her. Our mom is very adept at sewing, but not a professional and doesn't have professional equipment. Mom immediately declined because she knew this would be a huge undertaking outside of her wheelhouse and because she has issues with chronic back pain and wrist injuries. What started as a request soon turned into pestering. Mom kept saying no and repeated her reasons. True to character, the pestering turned into begging, and begging turned into emotional manipulation. She started saying things like, "It's so meaningful to me to have a piece of your wedding dress. It would mean so much more to have you making this into a full dress for me." Or, "I just really want you to make it because some random seamstress doesn't care about me or this dress at all." And, "I know you have better attention to detail than anyone else, and you would do a much better job. I can't imagine anyone else doing this. I just want to have a piece of you with me always." This was hilariously transparent because my sister has never been sentimental and has never treated our mom with any care or affection unless she won something. I kept trying to tell Mom that my sister just wanted a free dress, but after a lifetime of abuse and manipulation, Mom felt like she truly didn't have a choice and was being forced to do it. Of course, my sister made Mom pay for all the materials, lots of money, and of course she picked the type of materials that had to be sewn by hand because her sewing machine wouldn't work on this. She wanted custom embroidery and beading too. Parts of the dress were so thick and stiff that it really killed Mom's hands and wrists to be doing this. Throughout the process, my mom kept complaining to my sister about how excruciatingly painful this was and kept asking her to take it to a seamstress, but my sister kept demanding Mom to do it. I think she put over 60 hours into the dress. The dress was very beautiful, and my sister thanked Mom by refusing to pay for her to come to the wedding. Our parents aren't well-to-do, so they couldn't afford it on their own. She didn't even apologize or recognize how much physical pain Mom was in either. Now time for some community comments. First up, your sister sounds like mine, but mine manipulated my folks into supporting her and her 3 kids from when the youngest was 2 years old till she was 18 years old. Then she moved to her in-laws. She lied about medical issues she never had, that insurance conveniently always refused to treat, and could only have a part-time job. You guessed it, that was for her own pocket money. She once gave her 6-year-old a letter for Christmas, nothing else, mind. That was supposedly from Santa telling him that if he was a better behaved kid next year, he'd get a present. Someone else adds, "Sorry, OP, but that was on your mom. Your sister sucks, but your mom allowed the constant request to turn her no into a yes. This isn't even a lesson learned because you all know how your sister is. If your mom couldn't help herself and you saw the pain she was in, why didn't you take the dress to a seamstress and make sister deal with them and pay them for the final dress? It seems like your family just keeps bending over for your sister, which is why she keeps demanding so much." The OP replies, "You're absolutely right that we all spent too much time letting her have her way. It is really unfortunate how people like my sister can have this effect. I'm not sure if you ever had abusive family members or partners, but sometimes the relationships get to a point where it doesn't seem like no is even an option. Sometimes it feels like yes is the easiest way to stop a psychological terror. One day you wake up and realize, wait, I can say no, and then feel bad about yourself for not seeing that sooner." Just to offer some more perspective on my sister, she's always been very controlling and entitled and abusive. I don't know why she was just like this from the get-go. Yes, it was on my parents to stop that behavior. While this doesn't excuse anything, I think they were both emotionally exhausted by her, and then struggled with some depression from losing their folks when she was fairly young. They weren't absentee or bad parents, and they did their best, but I think their will to put up a fight all the time was worn down, if that makes sense. Again, it doesn't justify letting her get even more out of control, but things just went down like that. When talking with my mom, she kept saying, "Sister is forcing me to do this." And I would say, forcing is the wrong word. Is she making you sew at gunpoint? It is so hard to explain the dynamic of abusive relationships when you're in the midst of one. I think we are all left with some embarrassment and blaming ourselves for letting things get that way over the course of years. It didn't occur to me at the time to go to my parents' house and physically take the dress away from my mom. I would try to get her to stop, but at some point it's like you said, this is on you to take control of the situation. I had an abusive ex years ago, so I was more privy to my sister's tactics. I would stand up to her when she was acting out to our parents, so she learned to abuse them in private. It effing sucks things were this way, but at least we are all no contact with her now, and they really did learn a lot. It's truly disheartening to hear about the challenging dynamics and manipulation your family endured from your sister. It's clear from your response that your family recognizes the need for boundaries now and regrets the impact of letting your sister have her way for so long. Abusive relationships often involve complex dynamics that make it challenging for individuals to say no and set boundaries. The fact that you and your family are now no contact with your sister shows a significant step towards breaking free from the cycle of manipulation and control. Learning from these experiences and finding the strength to say no is a powerful journey, and it's commendable that you've reached this point. What do you make of this? Do you think OP was wrong not to buy tickets for her sister's wedding? What about OP's mom's decision to actually make the wedding dress? Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell before you leave. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so feel free to leave a comment. See you next time in the rLounge.